Hello, I'm Dr. Don McMahon, and I'm an associate professor of special education here at Washington State University in Pullman, Washington. And my work tends to focus on using technology, especially emerging technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality to support students with disabilities. I do a lot of work in inclusive post-secondary education programs. We have a 2-year program here at Washington State called WSU Roar, which is an inclusive post-secondary education program for students with intellectual disabilities and autism who get to take classes alongside traditional WSU students for audit credit and to work on independent living skills and gaining independence in the community. When I kind of reflect back on what has worked well so far, or what elements have addressed accessibility well, I do a fair amount of professional development for educators. I was a special education teacher for 7 years and then worked for my school district for another 2 before starting my PhD, which was focused on mobile devices and accessibility features and using them as empowerment tools for students with disabilities. I'd say that one of the things that seems to be going well compared to where I started is the ability of individuals with disabilities to use the mobile devices that they own as empowerment devices. You know, the big difference between our traditional model of education of I'm going to teach you everything that I can in a short amount of time in your K-12 experience to help you live independently. When so many of our jobs today didn't exist 10 years ago, that model of education doesn't work nearly as well. And so the ability to carry around a mobile phone as an empowerment tool to help you navigate the world independently, have just-in-time learning that has built-in accessibility features that are in a lot of ways better than the accessibility software and screen reading tools that we had 15, 20 years ago goes a really long way. And that's before those built-in features, kind of are just the base. And then there's all of the variety of communication apps and downloadable tools that can support accessibility, like reading text out in the community aloud for someone that are available on these devices. So I think that's one of the things that is going well. What's not working well so far? I think one of the immediate challenges is always going to be emerging technology. One, it's going to take a while before some of the emerging technology tools that we have, whether it's voice assistants or let's say virtual reality glasses, like head-mounted displays, they're going to be great tools for some users, but no tool is going to necessarily meet the needs of all learners. Obviously, with virtual reality and head-mounted displays for individuals with vision impairments, there's going to be some significant limitations there. Some of our off-the-shelf digital assistants do a great job helping users, though, who are blind or low vision, but they struggle with people who may not have traditional articulation. And so it takes a lot of additional training, if it's even possible, depending on the user's individual abilities there, to interact with these digital assistants that are voice-driven. So I think one of the requests that I'd hope that developers keep in mind is, to really try to think about accessibility from the outset and to hopefully partner with researchers and most importantly, actual individuals with disabilities as part of this design process as they go forward, to help identify what might be some of these barriers that would prevent a user with a disability from getting the full functionality out of a particular technology. What should exist to make a greater difference? What technology, research and development, or design can make a greater positive impact for the end users? I would like to see more collaborations, kind of going off of what I just mentioned, more collaborations with experts, educators, and special education individuals with disabilities in the design process as an important voice. In addition to coders and, market testing that is focused on the majority of end users, to make sure that individuals with disabilities and families and communities and kind of their circles of support, educators that help support individuals with disabilities, are there helping to match kind of these emerging capabilities that we're getting and the needs of individuals with disabilities. Because if we can match those two things up, I think we're going to have a much more just future for everyone. And I'm fortunate enough to see it every day that the assistive technology tools that we put into the hands of students help them to be successful in higher education, get to unlock doors to new employment opportunities that wouldn't exist otherwise. So anything we can do to help our individuals that we're serving who have a disability, match them with a tool that, you know, is a good fit for them, that is meeting their needs and isn't something that necessarily we're forcing on someone, but is something that they adopt as part of their skill set and tools, I think really is the thing that makes the biggest difference for long-term success and sustainability. So those are a couple of my thoughts. You know, I think the other thing I'd love to see is, you know, additional support for emerging research in artificial intelligence and immersive learning technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality to kind of help provide these just-in-time learning supports for students with disabilities, or situated, very meaningful real-world training opportunities for individuals with disabilities. So a couple of my thoughts. Looking forward to participating in this NSF discussion here, and just excited for the opportunity to learn and participate in this community. So thank you.